All right, welcome in everybody. You know what it is. We're here to react to One Piece chapter 1165, and I have not been spoiled whatsoever, and I haven't even gotten any warnings about like, oh, this chapter is super hype like I usually do, which I think it probably is. I think we can all assume that at this point, but I'm completely in the dark, I guess is what I'm getting at. I haven't been told anything. I haven't even been told to, beware of spoilers, so very much looking forward to this. David, I saw you said ping Discord. Can one of the mods do it? All the mods have at everyone abilities. I know I talked to a couple people about doing it, and hopefully someone can pick up the slack. But yeah, I have not been spoiled at all on this chapter, so I'm super excited. I think we can presume probably what it's about. At least I think I can based off the end of last chapter. But regardless, I'm very much looking forward to it. If it is what I think it is based off the end of the last chapter, it's going to be absolutely peak. So very much looking forward to it. So welcome everybody. Welcome. Quanidin with the $2 super chat. You said 15 out of 10 chapter. Easy. How's your day going, Dak? 15 out of 10 is crazy. You know, usually I do agree with your rating. So I think last week you said 12 out of 10 and it was pretty peak. So 15 is pretty crazy. But as for my day, it's going great. I woke up and it was raining like crazy here in Ohio. So sadly, the dogs have not gotten on their walk just yet. So they're upset with me a little bit because usually we go first thing in the morning, but it's all right. Today is OP13 release day, by the way, for those who are fans of the One Piece TCG. This is the set that has the Gorosei cards and Emu and all that, and that did officially release today. The pre-release has been going on for a while, but I did go and pick up a couple boxes, though. And I've actually gone the last few days and picked up some boxes, too, because they have like a limit per day, but I'm up to 5 boxes now, so we're going to be opening a lot of OP13 is what I'm getting at. I kind of talked about this a few days ago in the last opening we did on Wednesday, and I actually called right after that and found out they had some more stock, so that's where this all started. So we'll be opening up some of that soon, by the way. So everything's going great, I guess. And I hope all of your days are going well also. But Kush Daddy, member for 22 months. You said almost 24 months as member. Time flies. It does, dude. And you know, your other super chat here for $5, you said, "This Kiss by Faith Hill or You're Still the One by Shania Twain, Delilah Radio Show SmackDown." So I did not know either of these songs, but I did get on and saw that super chat before we started, so I did my usual review. And to me, this was an easy decision. I don't know if this is a hot take whatsoever, but just on my first listen, This Kiss by Faith Hill was a lot better. And you know, not trying to dish Shania Twain here, but this it actually sounded a little bit familiar, so maybe there's a little nostalgia there. I think I've heard it on the radio, like whenever I was a kid or something. But I wasn't digging "You're Still the One" by Shania Twain. I'm gonna be honest with you. This was one of the easier decisions for me. Usually it's a toss up. This one was kind of tough. But yeah, guys, I'm very much looking forward to this. Let's see. Making sure everything's all set up here. It is. Now let me jump over here. All right, cool. So yeah, we're about to get started here in just a moment. Vex, you said Faith Hill is her, but I got to go Shania on this one. Yeah, like I said, I am so in the dark on, like, I know who both these people are, but I've never really listened to their music, so I'm very much in the dark. But TJ, you said like the stream. Yes, please. If you guys would not mind, that'd be awesome. And also I did see that Parvision is also going live, like right now. I think he went live almost at the same time. So I'm gonna go somewhat fast here, because I know Par likes to take his time on the chapter. So if I go fast enough, then you guys can bounce over there if you want to and hear his reaction. I tend to go a little bit faster, maybe a lot a bit faster sometimes. You know, I always like making fun of Par, because he even does the poll at the start, like, will this take me over an hour or not? So yeah, we'll get into this pretty quickly, so you guys can go over there. Real quick, I'm gonna go over the Discord and see if any mods were able to do it. Nope, not yet. I'll go ahead and do it now. One of these days, I'm gonna one of the mods are gonna be ready to roll and do it. But I don't know if any are here is the thing, because only a handful have the add everyone ability. But let's see. All right. All right, there we go. All right, cool. Thank you, David, for reminding me. Okay. Sometimes I do it real quick, and like I just put the link in there and I hit enter, and I'm like, oh god, am I sending the wrong YouTube link? You know what I mean? Like, Maybe I was looking at the Faith Hill video and I accidentally copied that link and I forgot to update it or something. It's like, I don't know. Every time I do an add everyone, I freak out. But all right, we are ready to roll here. So One Piece chapter 1165, Echo. And again, I am not spoiled at all. I know nothing about this, but Echo sounds like a very interesting chapter title, I think. Like, is it like Echoes like into the future? You know, maybe like Rocks passing his will onward or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see here shortly. First off, we have another cover request. Beppo peacefully sleeping using Zeus as a pillow. That's an interesting combination. Also, they're on like a giant sheep. So they're all on a sheep. So Zeus is sleeping on top of a giant sheep, but then they're using Zeus as a pillow. So it's like pillowception in a way. Interesting. Like, there's not really a connection with Zeus and Law. You know what I mean? Cliff, hey, we're reacting to the chapter, buddy. You got to get over here. Come on. You know, like I said, I haven't gone on the walk today, so Cliff is extra excited. There, I got the door shut so he won't bark. He was getting prepped to bark. You know, you can tell when he's doing it. He's like, oof, oof, oof. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Here we are. We're into the actual chapter. Rocks versus Roger and Garp. All right, this is what I think a lot of us presume the chapter would be about. And I was looking forward to it. Even though I kind of knew this had to be the topic, I was still super pumped to see all this. Please, all right, so this is carrying off of the end of last chapter where Rocks was saying, please kill me. You hear that too, right? Yeah, all right, so they both have voice of all things, which I think we knew, but I heard some people trying to say like only Roger was hearing it or something, but I think it was safe to presume both did, and they did. Please kill me. Man, you can just see like the hockey just like coming right off the sword like that. That's a pretty cool image. His words, the way he's acting, and that look on his face. None of it adds up. This is a pretty cool angle to this, in my opinion, that I'm excited to see. Is like, how do Garp and Roger reason through this? You know what I mean? Like, how do they, you know, how do they make sense of what's going on? Because they don't really know what Domi Reversi is. They're just getting introduced to Emu and the Gorosei transformation stuff, right? So this is probably like very random to them. So. Then we see Garp coming in, punching Rocks right in the face. That is an awesome panel. That is, I don't know what it is about it. Maybe because Rocks is so menacing, but then Garp just comes in here and just, you know, punches him right in the face. I think that is so cool. And then we see Rocks kind of stop it here. Even though he's getting punched in the face, he still was able to stop Garp here, it looks like, or at least, yeah, not fly away. And then he flung both of them backward, it looked like. All right, so Rocks is a beast, or at least Reversied Rocks in particular. Oh, the sky is splitting. I see that in this panel on the left. And it looks like it here. Oh, and they even say it. The sky, it's splitting. We've got to get out of here. We're going to die. And I love how, like, one of the mountains of God Valley has fallen. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know we saw that last chapter, but now that we're seeing it, like, more stuff happen with only one of the mountains back there, I think is just a pretty cool, like, design, you know what I mean? Sky, it's splitting. We've got to get out of here or we're gonna die. Let's steal a ship and get off this island. So Silver Axe is here. Huh? What about Rocks' ship? Dumbass, no one's going back. The Rocks pirates are history. Hurry to the coast. All right, so this is kind of interesting too, where it's like some of them have like kind of differing views on how this is going down, if that makes sense. Like have the Rocks disbanded? Are we supposed to go help him? Like, they each kind of have a different view on it, I guess. I want to see what Kaido's thinking at this point, and Whitebeard. Vice Admiral Garp, can you repeat that? I said, get every survivor and Marine you can aboard that ship and cast off immediately. Roger, what's going on over there? Get underway the instant Rayleigh's group is aboard. Wait for me at sea. And you can see the egg on the ship back there, which we already knew they had the egg, but I think it's still cool to see that. I'll make it back for sure. Look, they're already getting beat up by Rocks here, you know. You okay? You okay, Cliff? You gotta lay down, buddy. You gotta lay down. Lay down, bud. I don't know. He's bumping into my chair and huffing a bunch. I don't know. You okay? I don't know if he tried, I don't know, playing with a toy or something and got messed up, but I think he's all right. So I love this I'll make it back for sure thing. And also, I just thought of this. You remember how Garp had that discussion with Kobe about how, like, if there's an old man and a child and you, and there's only two room for two people on the ship, what do you do? This kind of reminds me of that. It's not the exact same, but it kind of reminds me of it because Garp is telling everyone, just get out of here. I'll figure it out. Like, don't worry about me. You guys need to go be safe. It's like that same kind of thing, even though, you know, he's not an old man. Like, it's different, but it fits in that theme, which I really like for Garp. Rox and Roger. I came to this island to catch the pair of you, but look how things panned out. Well, all I wanted was to save Shaki, grab some treasure, and bail. This is pretty badass. They're taking off the coats like it's go time. That's a pretty dope just situation. I love that. It's kind of like a redo of the panel from like at the end of last chapter, but now it's just even more serious. Rox looks a little, or not Rox, but Roger. Is that? I don't know. I don't know. Roger looks a little off to me. I don't know if he looks the same to you guys, but I feel like I don't even know. It looks almost more like Garp with a hat on, but either way. Want to call a temporary truce? Can't say I'm thrilled with that idea, but we can't just leave him be. Hey, Rox. Okay, so this is cool. So we did an attack. Let's see what's Garp doing. He's jumping over. Now we got Rock. We got some combo attacks from the boys. All right, this is pretty sweet. So Garp's jumping over. Then you got Roger coming from behind with a slash, it looks like. And then Rox goes flying into the mountain, into this giant boulder, whatever it is. This form, this curse, can't we undo it somehow? Oh, this is what I wanted. This is what I was really, like I said it earlier, I want to see how they kind of reason through this, right? Like, how do they, you know, make sense of this? How do they get past it? Do they figure out a trick? What can we take from it into the future, right? That's kind of the big thing. Can we undo it somehow? Wake up. Which is, it's interesting they're saying wake up, because while this isn't Killingham's power specifically, we did see Killingham, you know, made the kids fall asleep, and then their nightmares came alive. I wouldn't be shocked if there is some interplay. Again, not going to be the same powers, but like, is this someone's nightmare coming to life? Like, is this like a dream thing? I don't know. Hurry. Roger won't stop fighting till he's sure we've escaped. It's strange, this hockey. Nice ship. You don't mind if I tag along, right? Gloriosa. Okay, that's pretty funny. So Gloriosa's trying to get on Roger's ship. I like that. That's funny. You listening, Kaido? Consider this a lifelong debt. I love that they are still talking about this. Like, because we already knew that, you know, Kaido owed a debt or whatever to Big Mom, but we, you know, based off the way it happened, we're like, well, why is he going to owe a debt for that? But now Oda just kind of keeps building it here. Consider this a lifelong debt. You'll pay me back one day. Mark my words. Don't be stupid. You lost fair and square, Linlin. Now watch. I'm gonna start a crew where brutality is the only law. You've grown bold, haven't you? But you'll never be able to beat me. Linlin, what are you doing? We've got to go. Load up the treasure. One day, I'll come to collect what you owe. I'll crush you when that time comes. Is this a big foreshadow for the return of Big Mom and Kaido? Like, I'm not saying that this is going to happen specifically, but there's been a lot of theories about Big Mom, like, taking Kaido's soul, which, based off how Soul Pocus works, I don't think that would work normally. But there have been theories about that, or, you know, Big Mom is going to come to Elbaf riding on the back of Kaido or whatever. This makes me feel like there is going to be some story there. Like, again, I don't think she's actually going to get to take his soul, but something where he is going to sacrifice something to save her, maybe, from the lava stuff. I don't know. By the way, shout out Gigi for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate you. Definitely wanted to say that before I read the rest of this, because then if I take too long, it'll disappear and I'll forget, and I don't want to do that. Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the GOAT. But yeah, I really wonder if this is some Kaido Big Mom foreshadowing, for sure. Now we see Rock send in Garp and Roger back into some boulders, I guess. You broke the mountain, didn't you, Newgate? Who are you? Looks like your crew's also breaking up. Whoa! No, no way! The name's Graham? Polo Graham? Marco Polo? Dude, okay, stop. There have been theories about Polo, about Marco's dad being Polo for so long. Oda, this is awesome. This is, oh, dude, this is peak. This is, oh my god. This is the stuff I live for. These corny little jokes here. We were all wondering if the Marco guy, the guy that looked like Marco from a few chapters ago, could be his dad. There was also a guy that kind of looked like Vista, so I wonder if that's going to come into play now. But now we know this is Marco's dad. Oh my god. His name's Graham? Polo Graham? So is Marco's name Polo Marco, so his full name is Marco Polo? Captain of the Polo Pirates? Yo. That's so awesome. It's just so awesome. It's peak. I didn't know if Oda was actually going to go for the joke, but he did. That's amazing. And it's kind of funny because this almost just looks like an older Marco, you know what I mean? Like if all you got to do is slap a beard on Marco and this is pretty much him, but hey, a lot of dads do look like their kids, I guess, in One Piece, but that's awesome. I know, I mean, there's a lot of hype stuff happening, but that really got me. That might be my highlight so far. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of you, Polo Graham. You need a ship, right? Let's join forces. Buzz off. Don't get in my way. Hey, where's Newgate? Don't ask me. Calm down, Dragon. What do you think you're doing? So is he back on a marine ship here? Oh my god. Wait, what's happening now? Me? What about you? Do you condone this? Dragon, bring those survivors aboard. We're saving them. Dragon, this is some top tier stuff from Dragon right here. This is what everyone wanted from Dragon. I mean, we've been saying this the whole God Valley thing, that, you know, he's like the true hero here. He's obviously a good person. He's on the right side of history, all that. I'm happy to see this. He's pissed, right? He's like, I'm not. This is so wrong, you know. Like we're not letting this happen. Bring those survivors aboard. We're saving them. And if anyone's got a problem with that, I'll execute them. Hey, I mean, Dragon's serious. I mean, after what he saw, I can't really blame the man. You know what I mean? Like, and so this guy, so these are the Davy people, right? Is this guy with the hat? Is this I don't think that's the same guy who got turned who also had a straw hat, right? The one where they said Gramps. I don't think that's the same guy, but these are probably other Davy members, I would presume. They're also all chained up, so I think we can safely presume that for sure. Because not everyone on God Valley is a Davy, but I think, since they're chained up, probably, because we know the Davies were chained up. This won't end well for you, Dragon. Bring it on. Where are you going? Rayleigh, Gabon. Don't follow us. Sail the boat out to sea and wait. Oh, so they're coming back to help? Oh, what is this, bro? Wait. That island never existed. Is that clear? West Blue. And we have this extremely off-putting and ominous image here of Saturn with the emu eyes, and he is just blankly, like, looking forward. That is very off-putting. Like, I might be reaching here, but it almost feels like he's like a robot getting an order. You know what I mean? Like he's like a seraphim or something who's getting an order and like reprogramming in a way. Like again, I don't know if that's exactly it, but there's been a lot of theories about, you know, the Gorosei being like Emu's satellites in a way or something like that. It feels like he's like a pacifista getting, you know, recalibrating from the order kind of, but anyways, West Blue. That island never existed. Is that clear? The records kept by G11 and CP6 concerning the top secret Level S special mission on God Valley are sparse. So are we just jumping over to the narrator piece? The names of the participants of the human hunt were purged. Little is recorded regarding the site of the incident, God Valley. Information regarding the island's whereabouts, size, and population were also purged. The number of casualties remains unknown to this day. And we see some hockey blast of some sort, some attack that is knocking down the other mountain of God Valley. Huff Huff, did you know the government had ties to that black monster? Seems like an affront to justice. I'm with you there. If you want to leave the Navy, you should join us. Oh, dude, Roger offering a spot to Garp. Love that, too. Hell no. If I quit, who'd protect the Marines? Interesting perspective. Like, I've always thought of Garp, like, because Kobe is this way, where, like, for Kobe, he's definitely about, like, saving the innocent people, right? Like, yes, I'm sure protecting the Marines and stuff is part of it, because you saw at Marineford, he just wanted all the death to stop and everything, but he's also about, like, protecting, like, the individuals. We saw that with, like, I'll put the old guy and the baby on the ship, and I'll figure it out. But it's interesting that Garp has this perspective where he wants to protect the Marines specifically. Now, you could maybe read a little through line there where, like, he wants to protect the Marines because they are often doing good things most of the time. Not all the time, but, you know, a lot of pirates are bad and we need to have some force fighting them. But it's interesting that Garp is thinking that, like, who would protect the Marines? So he's the Marine protector, you know, he's the one looking out for him, which is, it's interesting. I like that. Huff Huff, it's all about the mass, Garp. The mass? What are you talking about? Is this going to talk about the 21 grams of soul by chance? Because that is, like, the fact it was 21 grams, you know, that's a amount of mass. I've always wondered. By the way, Mr. Bushido with the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very, very much. Wanted to make sure I could shout that one out, too, before I accidentally missed it. Thank you very much, Mr. Bushido. Appreciate you. Armament Hockey can normally counter Devil Fruit abilities, and I'm using Conqueror's Hockey coding to boot, so there's no way my attacks aren't doing anything. It's because he's also using Conqueror's Hockey to guard himself. It's not a surprise we'd cancel each other out. Exactly. If we don't overcome that, the damage won't go through. We will lose sooner or later if we keep trading blows like this. We simply can't match a monster in a battle of attrition. So next time we use Conqueror's Hockey, we should channel all of our mass into it? Yeah, don't worry about how crippling the aftermath will be. If we do that, we probably won't survive this. This reminds me a little bit of, like, Zoro, kind of, against King, because remember how, like, Enma was forcing him to use, like, maximum amounts of Conqueror's Hockey in general. And it kind of pushed him to be better. Like, he was literally going 100% all the time. I feel like this is almost similar in that way, where they're opting to do that themselves. They're like, we got to put everything we have into this. We can't hold back or else it's not going to matter, right? Either way, it'll take all 3 of us out of commission. And if we don't land this, it's all over. Hey, Rox, I don't know if there's any words that'll comfort you at this point. I don't even know what's happened to you. But I do know one thing. I can feel your frustration with one of the most insane panels we have ever had, I feel like. I mean, I say that a lot, so I don't know what the actual rankings are, but this panel of Rox crying, oh my, the detail, bro. This also reminds me of, like, a little bit of when Kizaru was yelling to Akainu at the end of Egghead. It was like there's just so much detail. You could feel the, you know, the trauma, the frustration, you know, right in just the image itself. And, like, this is very similar. So much detail. You know, snot dripping down, tears. His lip is all, like, quivering. Like, man. Oda, man. That's a powerful panel. That's crazy. This is no time for tears, you dolt. Oh, wait. Is he even wiping his tears away? Roger is? You can see him like, yeah, dude, so he's feeling this. Like, he gets it. Kagusuchi is the Shinto god of fire. Okay, interesting. And his sword is ace, right? Yeah, I think. So that's fire, ace. Interesting. Infinitum. Ace. Oh, they're ace. Okay, so Kagusuchi's ace, so he has a fire attack with his sword ace. Okay, that's cool. Infinitum explosion. And what? Dude, it looks like Rox is, like, fading away? The world government tried their best to bury this incident in the shadows. However, the disbanding of the chaotic crew, led by Rox D. Zebek, would leave an undeniable echo. And there it is. There's the title of the chapter. The Rox pirates destabilized an entire era, and the tremors of their legacy would continue to shake the world. A legendary incident uncovered. Chapter 1165, and we do have a break next week. This was 3 in a row, so we kind of knew that. But you can see him kind of like disappearing here at the end. So this is the end of Rox. Now I wonder if from here, like, Rox might be done fighting and stuff, but maybe his body will be left on the ground, and they'll be able to exchange a few words by the end. And I bet you, I bet a lot of money that Rox is gonna say, like, protect my family or something like that, because Garp and Roger have already had that sort of exchange with one another, you know, where Roger told Garp to protect his kid. And also, I just noticed this too. I guess we kind of saw it earlier in the other panel, but Garp's attack, the Infinitum Explosion, is basically a Gatling, right? It's like his own version of like a Conqueror's Gatling kind of thing. I love the name Infinitum Explosion. That is cool. Kagusuchi's ace is also super cool. Huge fan of both of those as like final attack type things here. Also, I love the echo thing. I kind of brought that up earlier with, like, I thought it was going to be more of a Blackbeard thing, I guess, but still, it's cool that it's like the echo of the Rox pirates still has, you know, made its way into the world, it's disseminated across the world into the future, and greatly changed the future of the One Piece world and the story. Like, that's a very cool way to kind of cap this off. This is awesome. That genuinely, Quanidin, you said it was 15 out of 10 earlier. I agree with you. This is, like, even though a lot of this is kind of what we expected, just that they're going to keep, you know, fighting, because based off the end of the last chapter, it's still, like, still super peak, still so much unexpected stuff. The dragon stuff, I love the dragon stuff. That was awesome. Big Mom and Kaido talk. Pologram, don't forget my boy Pologram. Yeah, man, this was a top tier chapter. I'm so glad I wasn't spoiled on any of this. Like, even if I had just heard of the existence of Pologram, I would have been very upset. I'm so glad I got that surprise, dude. Pologram. That is so funny. This is so funny. But yeah, I really wonder where this is going to go now. Like I said, Rox will probably get some final words, but I also wonder, not even just the family angle to it, but, like, what is he going to say about these powers? Like, is he going to say, like, yeah, well, what just happened to me is Domi Reversi. It's the world has this power. You need to stop them. Like, is he going to talk about that, or are Roger and Garp going to be left in the dark on that? And also the way that Rox is kind of like disappearing in a way, like you can see all these little holes popping up into him, reminds me a lot of Luffy punching Saturn at the end of Egghead, which he just regenerated after that. So I assume Rox isn't going to, because Rox has to die at some point, I think. But either way, this seriously such a good chapter. Seriously, just, it's kind of insane. Like I said, it's so funny because I thought I was prepared for the chapter. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I had thought of the possibilities enough based off the last chapter. I was like, it's going to be hype, but I'm ready for it. I wasn't ready for it, even though I thought I was. This was Super awesome. I also thought this discussion about the Conquerors hockey is interesting. It maybe gives us a little bit of insight on how to fight these guys a little bit. But even then, if the answer is just like all-out Conquerors hockey, I feel like that's a little... It's like a little empty, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they just got to get stronger and that's it. So but I guess this isn't necessarily a regeneration issue. This is just a Domi Reversi thing. It's just because rocks are strong. So this is probably different than the Conqueror's trick for regeneration. I don't know. That's not important right now. What is important is how hype this chapter was. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens next. Seriously. And all this hype, like this narrator hype in the middle of it about like... You know, the island's erased, nobody knows how many people who died, only a few people know about what happened, all that kind of stuff. That's interesting, and it also puts Sengoku's discussion in a different light, right? Where he originally told all the Marines this, and the Marines were like freaking out, like, well, I had never heard of all this, what are you talking about? It's kind of interesting, just that kind of situation. Like, they're trying to keep it in the dark, but like some people do know, and maybe they don't have the full story. Like Garp, what did Sengoku say? That Garp and Roger fought to protect the Celestial Dragons, which they kind of did, but that is like a very propagandized way of looking at it, right? Because they were protecting kind of everybody, not just them. So a lot of interesting, you know, ways to read it. A lot of like telephone there that they're playing. So all in all, super, super awesome chapter. 15 out of 10, whatever. Or just a 10, you know, I don't know if... we have to change the rating system every week, you know, at this point. So 15 out of 10, 10 out of 10, whatever. It's top tier chapter. This was amazing. But all right, let's go ahead and see what you guys got to say. I saw a million super chats flying through, so I know you guys have a lot of ideas on this for sure. Also want to make sure... well, actually, yeah, any mods in the chat, if I miss any, please holler at me. But I think I'm gonna have them all here. Let me actually... Okay, cool. I can scroll back to the top of the chat. All right, cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be good, but, you know, let me know if I skipped any for sure. Alexander Ivanov, or I did see your comment on one of my streams about how I almost said Ivankov, and you were okay with it, because Ivankov's a GOAT. So, Alexander Ivankov, member for 3 months. Appreciate you. You said, like the stream, justice for Roxboy. Absolutely. Look, I mean... It's so sad that this is how Rox kind of ended, right? But, like, it's sad but awesome. It's kind of like it builds up his lore and his awesomeness to only be taken down by two of the strongest people combining and going all out. Like, you know, it's sad that it had to happen this way, but it also shows how much of a badass he is, right? So, yeah, justice for Roxboy for sure. I wish it didn't have to happen to him, but at least he got what he wanted. You know, he was asking to die, and it seems like that's what's happening. But it's a crazy way to go out, that's for sure. That's for sure. K Raven with the $5 super chat. Excited to hear your piece. Probably my chapter of the year, TBH. Much love. Well, K Raven, I hope you enjoyed it. This might be my chapter of the year too. And there's been so many good chapters this year. So actually, it's a good time to bring this up. You know, last year I did a chapters of the year ranking stream, and I had you guys rank them, and then I did a stream to show the results. And I think I'm going to do the same thing this year. That won't happen until next month, because we got to wait until, you know, we get the final chapter of the year. But it's going to be hard this year to pick. Like, I feel like every week I want to say it's my new favorite one. So yeah, K Raven, this one's up there for sure. There's just so much emotion to this one, so many like little reveals. Awesome chapter, top tier. John Stoops with the $5 super chat. Working, of course, but the VOD's going to be a must-watch once I'm off. Enjoy this one, Dak. It's just what everyone was asking for. John, you're absolutely right. Hopefully you do enjoy the VOD. I feel like I was pretty excited this time. I was pretty into this chapter for sure, as I'm sure most of you were, right? Like, you could feel the energy coming off the pages, like so much of the story build up. Like, you know, we've heard so much about Roger and Garp, and now this flashback has built up so much of Rox. We've been waiting for God Valley. Now to finally get that climax, it's just... And for it to pay off in this way, like Oda built this up and delivered, right? That's always the thing, is like, you know, whenever you build up expectations, the problem with expectations is then you got to meet the expectations, right? And it's just crazy how well this all went, I think. Like, this is... And here's the thing. There's still some stuff about God Valley we need to figure out. Like, remember Well, for one thing, the devil fruits. We still haven't figured those out. I'm waiting for that. That's one of the big reveals I want to see. But even this like Saturn thing where it's like that island never existed. Is that clear? It's like, and we see the ship sailing away here. And so I'm wondering, do they blow up the island? Is this just an order to, like erase all the records? Like, I'm curious what like kind of the aftermath of this is. Cause like we know the records were hidden away, but like, part of this island supposedly becomes Thriller Bark, or at least that's been the popular theory for a long time. So how does that kind of happen? There's still like some aftermath here to figure out, but either way, yeah, this is what everyone's been asking for real. Juvial Grace with the $2 super chat. Loved how Roger looked a lot like Ace in this. You're so right. I didn't even really clock that, but you're right. Like, even just glancing at these panels, you're so right. And then obviously we had that callback at the end of the chapter. Well, not even call back, but I don't even know, a connection with the Kagusuchi's ace thing, because obviously his sword is ace, and now in this big attack, he's calling on the Shinto god of fire. Like, that little connection, love that. He does look a lot like Ace, which is a cool callback. Oh, man. There's so much to love about this chapter. Mr. Bushido, member for 32 months. Appreciate you. Gil Bastar has Perona fruit. You know what? I did see a chat earlier that mentioned a Perona ghost. I didn't really clock that. Oh, you're right. Hold on. I think that's Gil Bastar. I know he has like the bucket hat. We haven't really seen him that much, so it's like, could this be a random guy? Maybe, but no, that's probably him. He does. He has Perona's fruit. So again, I'm sure most of you guys saw it, but that video that I did a couple weeks ago about all the Thriller Bark connections going on, that here's yet another one, and this one's undeniable. That's crazy. Yeah, that's definitely a Perona ghost. So Gil Bastar has that fruit. And I think we talked about this a little bit last week, because we saw that Captain John had Kid's fruit. We saw Gonzui had Mr. Five's fruit, and we were kind of wondering, like, are there other fruits that we're gonna see that people had on rocks who other people have today? There's one. Very cool. And also, you think about it, like, Kaido's technically shown us a couple of fruits like that too, because remember, Higurashi and Semimaru had Bon Clay and Barto's fruit. And actually, one of my first videos that I ever did was about how Barto and Bon Clay are like two of the biggest Luffy fans in the story, or at least the biggest Luffy fans who aren't directly related to him or on the crew. It's like two people who kind of randomly just came to love Luffy and like are willing to sacrifice themselves for Luffy. And it's weird that both those fruits belong to Kaido. And then you also think about how like Wano's whole thing, or Kaido's thing, was like, I'm only going to lose if Joy Boy shows up. It's like, there's a lot of interesting story beats there, right? On how like the fruits were kind of recycled in that way. So it's interesting now to see this too, because like I was saying, the Thriller Bark connection. So that's very cool, Bushido. That's very cool. I didn't catch that. And then you also had a $2 super chat saying, you would imagine Big Mom and Kaido would mention Kid's devil fruit. I agree. It like the way that I'm kind of thinking of that right now, which maybe it's like a little bit of like hopium or copium, because there's a lot of other times where I felt like if somebody had so-and-so's fruit, then like somebody would have mentioned it. Like for instance, a lot of people thought maybe Rox has Buggy's fruit, which he obviously doesn't now. But if he did, I was always like, well, wouldn't Whitebeard have brought that up at Marineford or something, or even Roger would have brought it up. But now that Big Mom and Kaido didn't bring up Captain John's fruit, maybe Oda's not going to do that, right? He's not going to have the people mention it, which the way that I'm reading it is probably that Kaido and Big Mom already clocked that before. Because remember, Kid attacked Big Mom's territory before Wano, and then also Kaido came down and attacked Kid and his alliance. So it's like, maybe we just didn't see it, but maybe Kaido mentioned that to Kid after that fight. And same thing with Big Mom. Maybe she was like, oh, that brat who has, Captain John's fruit came and took our poneglyph. Like, they may have just said it, in private, and then so once we got to the rooftop, there was no purpose for them saying it, because they had probably already thought it or mentioned it to somebody. That's kind of how I'm reasoning it at this point, because you would think narratively that they would bring it up, because it's kind of hype for them to just be like, man, I thought this was the last I saw of that fruit, or like something to hype it up. So like, you would think, but maybe we'll see in the future that, like I said, Kaido and Big Mom have already kind of thought through that and like, oh dang, he has that fruit. That's interesting. I don't know. It is a little weird, but I guess that's what Oda's gonna do. Kush Daddy with the $5. Gil Bastar having the ghost fruit is how he can see ghosts and wanted. I love Oda for that. Oh wait. Oh, hold on. I'm not familiar enough with wanted to remember that. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick. That's actually crazy. Can I read it right on Viz? Okay, it's several pages. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it quick enough. That's crazy. I mean, I think I can trust you. I'm just trying to see where it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, here he is. He's right at the start of this. So Gil Bastar, also weird old man. I see another wanted poster. Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, I see what you're talking. That's crazy. That's some 5D, you know, like galaxy brain stuff from Oda. That's crazy. That is crazy. See that I'm very impressed. That's big time. I'm kind of shocked. That's so cool. Wow. That is amazing. Kush, thank you for bringing that to my attention. That's insane. See, that's seriously, galaxy brain's the only way to put that. That's amazing. I totally did. I don't even know if forgot's the right word. I don't even know if I knew that Gil Bastar had that much hype. I never thought about him much, like, ever, but then I guess I should have went back and read after Oda said that Gil Bastar was the guy in the corner or whatever. I should have read up on him. That's big time. That is seriously big time. Mr. Bushido with the €5. So that was Marco's dad who kicked Silveraxe. What if Garling killed Polo, then fought Whitebeard, since Marco is with Whitebeard and Wano, but his dad isn't? I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like the fights are basically done at God Valley, like, because everyone's kind of running towards the shore and stuff, right? I guess we saw Rayleigh and Gabon running back, so maybe Whitebeard and Kaido are going to have some kind of fight still, but at least it feels like we're, you know, wrapping up here, so I'm not exactly sure if there's going to be a lot more fighting. I mean, maybe Garling can come over and just kill Polo real quick, but I guess I'm just not sure how much fighting there's really going to be at this point, but I do think there is going to be like an angle here where Polo's going to, for some reason or another, give Whitebeard his kid, or maybe like kind of like how Shanks, you know, got in the treasure chest and snuck away. Maybe Marco is also in a treasure chest somewhere and got snuck away. You know what I mean? Joy Boy, I saw you said, I think Rayleigh and Gabon will rescue Garp and Roger. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, and like for Whitebeard, it's interesting because I can't really tell what he's thinking right now. He's kind of just like walking around the forest, and Polo, well, Graham, I'm gonna keep calling him Polo. I don't care. Polo is, you know, he's like, I'm a big fan of you. Like, you need a ship, right? Let's join forces. It's like, it feels like Whitebeard's on his way off the island, and so I'm not really sure. Like, so basically, I don't know if he's gonna go back and really fight anybody at this point. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what Oda does here, though, because I mentioned this at the end. Like, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of discussion between Rocks, like before he actually dies, and he explains what happened or protect his family, whatever. And that's probably when Scopper and Rayleigh will show up, but maybe Whitebeard will show up too and hear that. You know what I mean? He might hear about Rocks talking about his family, which actually that makes a lot of sense, because then that would be a cool Blackbeard parallel, right? If Whitebeard hears Rocks talk about like his missing son, and then Whitebeard later realizes that that is his son or something, like that would be a cool storyline. So I think Whitebeard might have to hear about that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And maybe it does make sense for Garling to walk over there and be like, because I mean, Garling almost died by Rox's hand, so he might want to be there just to see Rox die. I don't know. There's a lot of ways this could go. Knack Talk with the 5 gifted memberships. My goat, Knack. Thank you very, very much. W's in the chat for my guy. Also, Knack, I still haven't fixed that outdoor light that we've been talking about. And it's also still raining, so I don't want to go work on it now. But I am going to message you about that light. Knack's been helping me hardwire a light in my like on my back porch because I'm not good at electrical work whatsoever. And I'm very close to figuring it out. We're like 90% the way. But thank you, Knack. I appreciate you, brother. I believe in you. Thanks for the vote of confidence. The electrical work is so hard the first couple times you try doing it. Like, it sounds simple, but then troubleshooting, it's a whole thing. I also don't want to burn the house down. You know, that's kind of the big thing. I'm like, is it really worth it for me to figure this out at the risk of catching everything on fire? But, you know, I guess it's a risk I'm willing to take. But thank you either way. Appreciate you very much, Knack. But yeah, Bushido, I'm not really sure how the Marco thing works from here. Like, I mean, Marco getting in a treasure chest, or like, I could even see Polo, like, putting Marco in a chest, and then, because it was like a plan, like, okay, well, if he's not going to let me join, at least my son will be somewhere safe. He'll be with a really strong guy, or I don't know, something like that. But it would also be weird for him to just, like, abandon his kid like that, so I don't really know. I don't know where this is going to go. Let's see. Lonely Mage, I believe. Yep, Lonely Mage with a $10 super chat. I appreciate you, Mage. Thank you. Sir, they hit the second mountain. That, to me, that is, I think that's such a cool thing. It's like symbolic in the way of, like, just, it's like catastrophe. You know what I mean? Like, if those fall, it's like, that's just, you know, well, for one thing, you know we're reaching the end, but you know we're at, like, the climax of the battle. You know what I mean? So, I doubt Oda's actually making a reference there, but it would be interesting. Like, it is cool that there were two towers, you know, and they did fall like one after the other like that. It's so cool to me that, like, it goes to show how strong these guys are. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are giant mountains. Like, and it also makes me wonder, like, I don't know, you know how there's, like, the theory that Scopper, like, the trees that Scopper cut to save Roger are the Drum Island trees. We don't even know if they're really trees technically, but the mountaintops in Drum Island, people have theorized might be, like, tree stumps that are cut down. It reminds me a little bit of that. Like, if we ever see that scene from Scopper, it's like, I don't know, it's such a massive, you know, thing, like, those trees or these mountains. It's like, it's so cool to, like, for Oda to kind of build that up and, you know, show how crazy strong these guys are, I guess. So it's I don't know, I love it. And it is interesting also, though, I gotta say, that there is, like, a cut in the middle of the mountains that, like, when it, like, was that natural? I feel like it's not. You know what I mean? It feels like it was originally one mountain and somebody cut through it. So I don't know. I wish we would have got a little bit of lore there, but either way, it is cool that there were, like, these two, you know, twin tower mountains basically, and to kind of show their strength, they're falling during just this one fight. You know what I mean? So cool, man. Oda cooked this chapter. Mr. Bushido with the 10 euros. Thank you very much for all the super chats, brother. Do you think Rox died? I think he is frozen in Pangea. There's some ice symbols like the Ice Oni virus in Wano. Would Garp overtake Rayleigh as the number 2 of Roger crew? P.S. Join Discord. Yes, everyone. Join the Discord if you have not already. Absolutely. I think we're at like 970 people or so. But as for Rox, I mean, I don't think he's dead at this moment, right? Like, I think we're going to see some aftermath next chapter. But in general in the story, yeah. I mean, I think the theories about his body still being around or being within Blackbeard are cool, but I don't think that's really going to happen at this point. I mean, I could be wrong, but actually I'm going to go back up to Saturn's thing. So the Marines and it looks like Saturn have already left, right? And so I don't even know if there really is a chance to go claim the body. Like, it feels like, again, I don't know if the island's going to get erased. I don't know if they have a use of that weapon, you know, that they used on Lelucia, and maybe they use it here and his body just gets vaporized or something. But I feel like all the theories about Rox still being alive or coming back one day or something, are probably not going to happen anymore. But I mean, hey, we got a lot to see, so maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe next week we'll get some more hints. But as of right now, I feel like that's not going to happen. And then would Garp overtake Rayleigh as the number 2? No, I don't, because like if you're talking number 2 just in pure strength, I mean, like, not trying to diss Rayleigh whatsoever, because Rayleigh is awesome and he's very strong, but I think Oda's clearly telling us that like Garp and Roger are like the same tier. You know what I mean? They're both top tiers. And so I think strength-wise, like narratively, Garp would have to be ahead of Rayleigh. But I also don't think being number 2 on the crew is all about strength. It's about, you know, trust. And I mean, like I said, Rayleigh's no slouch in any way, shape, or form. So even if Garp is like a little bit stronger, I don't think that would really take away from Rayleigh's like connection to Roger and, you know, just his temperament and stuff like that as like a second command. So I'd say probably not. I mean, Garp decided not to join, so luckily we won't even have that problem. But in general, you know, Garp would be a little stronger, but I don't think he'd actually be the number 2. It's kind of like if Loki were to join the Straw Hats right now, which, like, do we really know if Loki is stronger than Zoro? I mean, I guess not, but based off portrayal, it kind of feels like it, like only Shanks could stop Loki or whatever. So again, we don't actually know, but if we were to, you know, guess for a second that Loki is a little bit stronger, at least right now, like he wouldn't become the number 2 of the crew. You know what I mean? Like, even though because Oda had that color page where like he had all the number 2s of the crew. He even talked about it in SBS, and like it had Zoro, Shiryu, and all them. Like, I don't think Loki would ever, you know, surpass Zoro, even if he is stronger, because Zoro's just, you know, he was the first one to join, and he's, you know, he's has all this build up narratively. So yeah, luckily we won't even have to figure that out, because Garp said no, I'm good. Also, real quick, okay, cool. Vex, I saw your message. Yeah, I don't see friend I saw friend Harper's in the chat, so I did see it, but I don't see it over on Streamlabs, which is very interesting. But friend Harper, thank you for the $3 super sticker. I appreciate you very, very much, friend Harper. Thank you. How long ago was that? Yeah, because I don't see it on Streamlabs. Streamlabs really doesn't like member donations or super stickers, apparently. But either way, friend Harper, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. Brandon King, member for 15 months. 15 months, love Bastar having the ghost fruit and Marco Polo. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that, like, I don't know, it's, I almost want to say it's what makes One Piece special, but there's so many things that makes One Piece special. But those are the things for me that I just really love, like the interconnectedness of certain things, and also like the Marco Polo joke. Like, that was a theory for so long, and for that to finally come true is just hilarious. So yeah, that kind of stuff really appeals to me. That was awesome. Like, everything was awesome, but also the dragon thing. We haven't really talked about that a lot, but that really appealed to me too. Like, this was Dragon, like, you could see like, this all lit a fire under him in terms of, like, okay, these people are horrible. I need to just step in and figure this out, because these people don't know what they're doing. Terrible TJ with the $2 super chat. Did you see Perona's Ghost by Gil Bastar? Probably not by the time you sent that, but obviously now I have. Yeah, love that, man. It's so unexpected, but still so awesome. Mr. Bushido again. How do you say Graham? Sounds like that's a USA thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess technically, I mean, Graham is how you would say it because I have had friends in real life who have this name, and you just say Graham. It's almost like it's Graham. You don't actually say like Graham or Graham or anything like that. Now, technically, because, you know, we have some translation stuff, maybe Oda does want us to add some more pizzazz to the pronunciation. I don't really know, but in the U.S., you would just say Graham, like a graham cracker. You just say Graham. At least, I don't know, that in the Midwest, that's what we do. Maybe, I don't know if anyone else is different, but that's how I've always heard it says, Graham. So Polo Graham. Kuya Pixels with the $2. Polo Graham, Polo Marco, Polo Ralph Lauren. Oh, dude. Oh, if Marco has a brother named Ralph Lauren, or even like other siblings with one named Ralph and one named Lauren, which, by the way, one of my dogs is named Ralph, so that would be, I'd be all over that. But If he actually does that and there's Polo, like Marco Polo, and oh dude, that would be hilarious. And by the way, like Oda, you know, he loves like fashion, clothes, like he's well tuned into all these sort of cultural things, so I would not put it past him to do that. That would be hilarious. Marco has a sister named Lawrence. Oh dude, please. Oda, please do this. JR Rider 203 with the $5 super chat. Are the Holy Knights on Saturn's ship, you think? Hard to take them as current day threats with how they've been fodderized at God Valley. So that's actually a really good question. I didn't even think about that. You do see a lot of people on that government ship, and it also, I don't know how thorough this idea that I'm about to say is, but I did notice it during Egghead, where like Saturn had a black flag, right? Like a black government flag. I don't know if only the ships with the Gorosei or God's Knights have those. I don't know if we've seen them more often and I'm just not remembering, but we see it here and we see a lot of people on the ship. So I maybe they did leave, right? Like we haven't seen them in a couple chapters, and I don't know if they have their own ship or something, but that is, I didn't really think about that. Maybe they are just gone. So maybe maybe we aren't gonna get a Garling and Rocks discussion here before he dies. Maybe he's already gone. And about the part about how hard to take them as big threats given how they've been fodderized. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I think it's a fair point. Like, I mean, Oda does this a lot though. Like, you think about the Gorosei even, because like we've been worried about them all story, how strong they are, when we're gonna see them. They show up to Egghead, and while they were daunting for sure, I mean, they couldn't even succeed in, you know, stopping us from getting away with like only a couple casualties. You know what I mean? And even then, like the casualty, like we lost Stella, but he's gonna get clones. So like we barely lost anything, and we still got most of the message off. You know, and even Luffy was able to, you know, get Saturn off the ship, no problem. And then the Joy Boy rope hockey thing, like even the Gorosei felt, I don't know if I'd say fodderized, but we were like, that is as scary as they get, like, because we've already gotten past them, like they couldn't stop us. Next time we see him, I'm not going to be freaking out. God's Knights, like Oda does this a lot. He introduces them, makes them feel daunting at first, then kind of brings them back down to earth a little bit to like make the story work. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens from here. Like, if this is all they got, then I don't know, maybe they won't be that impressive, but I wonder if there is like another level to them. Like, kind of like Gunko getting taken over by Emu. I don't know if all the God's Knights can, so they get like another power up and then they're even more daunting, perhaps. But yeah, it is interesting how they've, you know, they were like not really a factor here at all. You know, they were chasing some kids around, hurting a bunch of innocent families and stuff, but then as soon as like the pirates show up, they get cooked, you know? So we'll see what Oda does. They do look a little disappointing though. I know what you mean for sure. Terrible TJ with the $2 super chat. Polo Graham had crackers fruit. I'm calling it. Because of graham cracker? I am not against that at all. I'm with you on that agenda, TJ. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I don't know. Well, I guess if Graham doesn't join Whitebeard's crew, then he might be out and about in the world, and that could be how his fruit made it back. Because like if he was on Whitebeard's ship and then he died at some point, then you would wonder how the fruit got to Big Mom. But if he doesn't join, then yeah, maybe he did die later and it made its way to Big Mom. Or even here, I mean, Big Mom's still on the island. If he ends up dying somehow, like by the hands of Garling or something like that, then even then it could happen. I love that idea, man. That's hilarious. That's actually hilarious. Kuya Pixels with the $2. Long live Rocks. I still don't think he's dead. Do you mean like... Because I agree with you for this chapter, but do you mean even like in the future? Like he's still out in the world somewhere? Like, I don't know, like, you know, I feel like there's a lot of like tropes from like Naruto, for example, which people have been bringing up. Like if the Joy Boy and Davy thing is a little bit like how the Naruto and Sasuke thing worked. And then if Rocks is still alive, but is getting like building power in the meantime, like Madara. I don't know Naruto that well, so if I'm butchering a little bit of the names, don't yell at me, but I get the general gist of it. It feels like that's very, very similar to the end of Naruto, if that is the case, where Rox is like still alive but like biding his time, and then like Blackbeard and Luffy are supposed to be like, the two people from the like reincarnated from the past to save the day kind of thing. Like, I mean, it's a little bit different because Rox is related to Davy and Blackbeard, so like I guess there's a little bit of a twist, but like I kind of hope that doesn't happen at this point. Now, the theories about Rox being alive within Blackbeard, like that's, I guess there's actually some tropes you could even say there from Naruto, I guess, but it's like, I don't know. I think he's going to be dead. At this point, the way that this is shaping up, I don't feel like this is going to become a situation where Rox like sneaks away and lives. But hey, if I'm wrong, then we got a lot of theories to cook. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think he's going to be dead. Mr. Bushido, you got 2 in a row here. The way Rox slices Emu up reminds me of Buggy. I know what you mean. That, like, even the way that you could see, like, it was like just darkness, like there wasn't blood or anything in Emu's body, like in like the under part, like where the cut was. That reminds me of Buggy too, because it's the same thing for him. It's just like nothing. It's the same thing with Law. It's like they don't bleed. You don't even really see the organs. It's just like a black like silhouette border. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is similar. And then you also said, was Garp on Roger's ship when they found Shanks? So like, does Garp escape with Roger, I guess is the question. That's interesting. Like, I think that's a cool idea. Now that you bring it up, I think it might be more likely that Oda would go for like a Kobe parallel here, where Garp is like, no, Roger, I can't sail away with you, because if I get seen sailing with a pirate or being friends with a pirate, then I'm going to be in huge trouble, and my responsibilities are too big. I'm just going to swim or something. Like, which, remember how Rayleigh swam across the Calm Belt to get to Amazon Lily? I mean, hey, I could see Garp swimming to the next Marine base or something. Like, that'd be kind of funny. So I don't think he's going to go on the ship. Like I said, it would be a cool Kobe parallel to be like, no, Roger, like, yes, we're friends, but I can't let the government or Marines know that I'm friends with a pirate kind of thing, right? So I think that would be cool. That's actually the video that I think I'm going to do on this chapter. Well, like this chapter / the last couple chapters. I've already been thinking about it, and this chapter I feel like gave me some good ammo. Where like, I think there's a lot that we can pull from what we just saw to parallel towards a potential future Kobe and Luffy team up against potentially like a Demon Blackbeard situation. Because I feel like that parallel's always been there, right? Where Kobe and Luffy are going to team up like these two did. And now that we know it's against Demon Rocks, it makes sense to be against Demon Blackbeard. Kobe's already been like up against Blackbeard several times in the story. Like Oda's already built this kind of trope, not trope, but this just parallel the situation quite a bit. So I think I'm going to do that. And I don't know, I feel like there's a lot that I can pull now from this for sure. And tying it back to what you're bringing up, like if Oda were to end this off with Garp having another Kobe parallel where it's, because all of this stuff is paralleling a future situation where Kobe and Luffy might team up. But now this is like paralleling backwards, right? Where Garp is paralleling back to what we've already seen from Kobe. I think that'd be cool. So, Croderick with the €5 super chat. Appreciate you. You think we'll see the thing Emu doesn't want unleashed? Also, the wings of reversied rocks make me think the mural demon is a reversied Oars or Davy. So as far as that last part, the mural demon, I am so certain now that the mural demon is Blackbeard. It might be Blackbeard after getting Emu's powers. Maybe it's Blackbeard after getting a hold of the Forbidden Sun. There's a lot of ways you could take it, and I'm going to talk about all of them in the next video. But I am so convinced now that demon on the left side is future Blackbeard. And then everyone coming to attack him, I think it's a sign that Blackbeard is going to get Emu's powers, become an absolute menace, and then everyone's got to team up to take him down. And yes, there will be a Luffy Blackbeard 1v1 at the end of this. Like, I'm honestly still thinking through in the video how I'm going to talk about this, but it's going to end with Luffy and Teach one-on-one. But I think everyone's gonna have to team up to help with like the first layer of it. Like whatever Emu's powers are, or the Forbidden Sun, that might take like a teamwork kind of thing. But then once it's just Blackbeard himself, then it'll be like a cool 1v1 between them. I'm imagining. So yeah, there's a lot of potential there, I think. And then you also said, do you think we'll see the thing that Emu doesn't want unleashed? So personally, and I'm not super sold on this. I could be wrong. I'm going to go back and reread that. I think it was 1162 where they said that. Like, the way that I'm reading it is that that was just talking about Emu showing up. Like, so like, I'm looking at 1162 now. It says, like, somebody is telepathically talking to Saturn, and they're saying, Saturn, is Rox dead? I presume that to be the other, like, one of the other Gorosei members, or the Gorosei collectively, because we've already seen them talk telepathically like that. And then Saturn is the one who says, well, things have continued to unfold outside of our expectations. In fact, all this intense destruction, I believe if it continues, we risk something else being unleashed. And then that same telepathic word bubble says, that must not be permitted. And personally, I read that as, like, if this continues, Emu's going to take me over and show themselves and wreak some havoc on this island. And I think they're saying that must not happen, either because Emu is going to show themselves, or they just don't want to upset Emu, or one of the other things, like something in that realm. But not that there is like a special sauce here, just we don't want Emu themselves appearing. But I could be wrong. In this sense, where, you know, now that everyone's leaving the island, and Emu, I think it's Emu, yeah, because he has the emu eyes. So Emu is saying, let me find it real quick. That island never existed. Is that clear? That could maybe be a hint that the thing that's being unleashed is like the Lucia weapon, or something to delete the island. So maybe we'll find out that there is more to it. But as of right now, I think it's just the Emu appearance, if I had to guess. I don't think there's much more to it. If there is, it's going to be whatever destroys the island, I guess is how I'm just reading it right now. But again, it is kind of vague, so I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll see. Brandon King with the $2 super chat. Something strange. Something strange. Who you going to call Ghost Bastard? That, yeah, it's... I love it. I love it. It's, like I said, it's unexpected, for me at least. Now, going back to what Kush said with the wanted one-shot, maybe it wasn't that unexpected, but it's just so cool. The memes are going to live on forever for this moment, for sure. Ghost Bastar. Like I said, the memes are going to live on forever, man. That's awesome. Adam Murray, member for 24 months. I think Rox dies on Elbaf. That's how he's sold out. That'd be interesting, too, because what that would parallel is Fisher Tiger, which I don't really know why, but I've always gotten like a Fisher Tiger vibe from Rox. Maybe it's just their designs a little bit. Yeah, they kind of have like similar facial hair and stuff, so maybe that's why. But he also, you know, went against the government and all that stuff, so there's a lot to say about Fisher Tiger. But remember, because Fisher Tiger got shot and all that stuff by Strawberry, and he was able to get on the ship and sail away, but then he died on the ship after they sailed away. I could see a little something like that here. Like, they're talking to Rox, and they're like, let's start... Well, Rox would probably want to be buried on God Valley, now that I think about it, because he was born there. It's like the land of the Davies and everything, so he might say, just leave me. But then if the island gets destroyed, maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, that it would be a cool Fisher Tiger parallel. And he could also get to say goodbye to Harold, which would be good, so... I don't know, I'm 50-50. You know, and you know, I've made fun of this quite a few times, but you know how Pedro, for whatever reason, was born, or was buried in Wano, despite him never going there, and all that stuff, which, you know, Carrot could have easily just made the grave on Zoe. They don't even have the body. What's it matter? But either way, it's on Wano. So Oda has already put people's graves in places that, like, they kind of make sense, but they don't make the most sense, at least in my opinion. So maybe Elbaf does make sense for his burial place, because it's like, he does have connections there at least, and if this island does get blown up, he wouldn't really have a homeland to be buried on. Which that's actually something about the Pedro thing that I bring up in a, won't be my next video, but it's a video I was working on where like maybe Oda didn't put Pedro's grave on the back of Zunisha because Zunisha's gonna die, and then Pedro's grave would not exist anymore, and that's not cool. So maybe Oda's pre-planning for Zunisha's death by putting his grave on Wano. So maybe it's a similar thing here. They don't bury rocks on his home island because it's gonna get blown up. I think that might make sense. I don't know. Dustin with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Dustin. Rocks plus Forbidden Flame undoes Domi Reversi. Is he the man marked by flames? Will Scopper tell the crew where to find him at the end of Elbaf? So do you mean Forbidden Flame like the Forbidden Sun? That'd be a cool angle to it. Like the Forbidden Sun has something to do with undoing Domi Reversi. I would say there's kind of a through line there, because if you go read the Harley text, it says like something about, you know, that there was the Forbidden Sun, and then the enslaved prayed, and the sun god appeared. And the way I kind of reason it is like the Forbidden Sun might be the power source which let the sun god initially appear, like it, that maybe that's like the source of devil fruit powers or something like that. And so maybe, because going back to the people's idea that it's been brought up since Domi Reversi first came out, that you could have like 2 Gear 5 people on each side to flip everyone who's in between them, right? Like a normal game of Reversi. If the Forbidden Sun does let people get, you know, powers and stuff, then maybe the Forbidden Sun could grant more Gear 5 powers, and then that could turn more people back, right? Because I feel like that's definitely where Oda's going to go, is where you have to have 2 Gear 5s on each side of the Reversi people or whatever. So maybe there is an interplay there with the Forbidden Sun. But as for the man marked by flames, I mean, like I've been saying, I don't think Rox is still going to be alive. I mean, if he was alive, he'd be an old man. He'd be in his 70s, right? He'd be 70 or 80 something at this point, because he was already an adult breaking into the flower room 56 years ago. So he had to be at least 20, maybe mid-20s by then. So he's going to be super old. So, I mean, he could still be alive, but I'm not thinking he's alive, personally. I doubt. And if he was, I feel like he would take that poneglyph right to Blackbeard. You know what I mean? Which maybe there's more to it. Like maybe he wants Blackbeard to earn it or something like that. But I'm thinking he's dead, so I doubt it. Now, does Scopper maybe know who that is, even if it's not Rox, and he shows someone at the end, or shows the crew at the end of Elbaf? That I think is possible. That I definitely think is possible, but don't think it's going to be Rox, though. But maybe the man marked by flames is someone who's tied to the Forbidden Sun, though. That would be kind of cool. I'm still on the masked Deuce train for sure, but I don't know. I think the Forbidden Sun's actually a really cool angle to it. I don't know how that would work or who that would be necessarily. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking like the Fishman tattoo, because it's a sun tattoo, and that could be why it's marked by flames, and they're all tied to, you know, Joy Boy or whatever, but I don't think that's strong enough. I guess they could make the whirlpools. People have brought that up too, but I don't know. Maybe there is some connection there. We'll see. We will see. Knack Talk with the Canadian $5. I appreciate you, brother. So the question I have now: how do you think Harold reacts to the idea that Rox never existed, because that's the message he's going to receive? Yeah, see, I'm glad you brought that up. I think the Harold angle to this is going to be very interesting. Like, so I'll speak on Loki first, because Loki is definitely going to be paralleling Odin, because Odin ran to the beach and was crying, but he was also crying like tears of happiness in a way, and he was like, you know, crying that Roger died, but also was like happy that Roger had accomplished so much, right? He was like laughing, smiling, crying. He had all the emotions at the same time. Loki, I think, is going to parallel that, but invert it, where I think he's going to be like completely distraught, where it's going to be like, you didn't accomplish anything. You didn't accomplish your dream. I thought you were going to be king of the world. I thought you were going to change this world. Like, you didn't do it. You failed, right? I think he's going to be very sad. So now for Harold, you know, I really wonder what he's going to do. Because, like, as far as the Rox never existing thing, I think all that would do, because he obviously knows he existed. He's never going to believe that. But that might tell him, like, hey, maybe the government's sketch, right? Maybe I should not team up with these guys. Like, maybe these aren't who I think they are. Like, we should, if they're lying about my boy Rox, maybe Rox was right. He told me not to join them. He might have a point. I think that's maybe where that would go. But I still wonder kind of like emotionally or like everything, like how he's going to just handle this situation, right? I would imagine Harold's going to be very, very distraught by this or very concerned. But I think he's also going to have a newfound sense of like inspiration where like, okay, Rox, like, I don't know what exactly happened to you, but you didn't make it out. I need to figure this out and make sure Elbaf is ready for whatever the future holds, right? Like, now that I know this happened, how do I prepare my island for this potentially happening? Because it is happening right now, right, in the current time. Like, they're Domi reversing the giants and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if there's like a little bit of a story there, and maybe that'll tie into what happened 14 years ago, or maybe even how we get past what happens today. Like, maybe Loki is like, yeah, yeah, you know, after, excuse me, after God Valley happened, maybe he's gonna say like, so my dad, you know, told me about this Domi Reversi stuff, this Abyss stuff. Like, maybe Harold figures it out and teaches Loki, and that's why Loki is like able to fight these people so well, or something like that. I don't know. I think there's just a lot that's gonna come out of this. Like, I think I said it the last few weeks, but this is all super hype, and I love it. If you couldn't tell from my reaction, I love this chapter. But I'm almost more excited to see the aftermath. Like, either this discussion with Rox as he's dying, what happens to God Valley, how Harold and Loki react. I think, because this flashback is about Loki and Harold, right? That's really the focus of it. We just had this awesome Rox detour that we've, you know, caused us all to fall in love with Rox. So I want to see how this plays into the rest, because that's the whole reason Oda's doing this and showing it to us now. So yeah, we have a lot to look forward to, Knack, for sure. K Raven with the $10 super chat. The need for mass may show why Loki is necessary for the final war. Good point. We've always heard how the giants are super important, right? I don't see him holding back any intention to destroy the world. Makes him hype. Also feel like Dragon took in Rox's will. It does. The Dragon and Rox's will part I agree with, because like he's almost going a little bit too far with the, and I'm not saying he is, but he's flirting with the line of going a little bit too far, where he's like, if anyone's got a problem with that, I'm going to execute you. It's like, okay, like you're definitely on the right side of history now, but if you start executing a bunch of people, it's like then you start kind of becoming the bad guy. You know what I mean? And I actually think that is something that's going to become important for the future of Dragon's character, because you know how the Revolutionaries destroyed like the food storages, and now the Celestial Dragons are like, they're not really going hungry, but they don't have as many options. I presume they're going to go hungry eventually is where this is going to go. They're going to completely run out of food, but it's already causing problems. And I think it's interesting because that is like a non-violent way to get back at them and to like hurt their supply chains and to confuse them and all that. But also, like, the Straw Hats would probably not be okay with that, right? Like, Sanji is not going to let anyone destroy food, no matter who it's for. And I think Luffy, you know, he loves food a lot. I think like, it's one thing if you go in there and eat all of somebody's food. It's another if you just destroy it, right? So it's kind of like, it's just like a little bit of a moral thing there. Again, it's not that he's horrible. It's just, he is kind of going against the themes of the Straw Hats a little bit. And so here, where he's immediately jumping to like, I'm going to execute you if you have any problem with this. It's like, I think part of Dragon's character is that he is on the right side of history, but in certain contexts, he might go a little too far, or he might be a little too, like, inhumane, or just, you know what I mean? So I think this is just a cool way to build his character, is basically what I'm getting at. I think this is planting the seeds for the future of, like, you know, Dragon got, like, I don't want to say, like, too radicalized, because, like, you should kind of become radicalized by this. Like, you should be staunchly against this. But I think Dragon also needs to figure out, like, okay, some of these Marines, like, they probably don't like this, but they also, like, are going through with the orders. It's like a little bit more of a middle ground where like they probably wouldn't do this if they had a choice, but they don't feel like they do. And so him threatening them is like, I just think it's Dragon. This is just Dragon figuring things out. You know what I mean? So as far as you saying he took in Rox's will, Rox was a pretty violent and reckless guy. He cut down Loki twice. We saw him in the Davy back fights, like blowing ships up and stuff. So like, I do think he took in his will a little bit where it's like, I'm going to stop at nothing to stop this, right? I will destroy whoever I need to stop this madness. So there is a little bit of that for sure. And yeah, and about Loki, I also agree with that because I think I mentioned it, but the Giants, like Rox mentioned it, Gunkmoo mentioned it, and the mural basically shows us it, that whoever the Giants side with are going to, pretty much decide the outcome. And maybe that is it. Like maybe mass is part of it. And I wonder if the idea is literally if you are, like, if you're just bigger and you are able to use hockey and conquers hockey, that's just more hockey. Like, I don't really like that reasoning because then it's like you have to be big to kind of match certain people, but it would also, give some credence to Luffy, being giant in Gear 5th. It's like, oh, it's not just that you're giant in general. It's that if you're giant, you have more mass and then you can do stronger hockey attacks. Like there is kind of a through line. So we'll see where Oda goes with that. But I do think it ties to the importance of the Giants for sure. Like they just have more mass than the average. You know what I mean? Friend Harper with the $5 super chat. I hold frustration as the emotion that follows from not getting the results you want despite your best efforts. Rox and Dragon got it bad. My feels. Yeah, that. You're right. Like I love that Oda is showing us that. Like, and we actually have kind of seen that idea from multiple angles in this flashback, right? The idea that like despite your best efforts, you're not getting the outcome you want. Because like, I mean, Rox kind of did that where he was trying to get Harold on the crew, but he failed. He did it where he's coming here to save his family, but he did save his family, but he didn't save himself. And like, I mean, you could even say, which like this is a good thing, but you could even say like the Gods Knights really wanted Shaki and they didn't get her, despite their best efforts. And yeah, and there's just so many different angles here to that, right? And Garling couldn't even get like both of his kids back. Like there's a lot of people who have that, but as far as like the good guys, it's for like Rox, which I mean, Rox is a good guy compared to a lot of the evil people we're seeing right now. It is like at least he got to save his family, which Kuma actually saved them. He didn't actually do it, but at least they got saved. But yeah, it does put you like right into your feels a little bit of just like, it's, I guess another way of looking at it is it's like unfinished dreams, maybe, because like thinking about dreams being so important to One Piece and especially Blackbeard, it's like unfinished business or excuse me. Let me get a drink of water. But yeah, it's like unfinished dreams or something in that realm of things, which I think is that's inherited will though, right? It's like if you don't finish the job, your will is probably going to get inherited by somebody who does. So there's so many deep layers to this that you could look at that I really appreciate it. Like I have a lot of theories on what's going on, but I almost feel like there's an analysis video that needs to be done on a lot of these deeper storylines here, right? Like in this chapter being called Echo is probably the perfect way to put it. Is it's like so much happened now, both successes, failures, unrequited wants and needs, and like friendships that like conflict between friends, and like so many different things that ended up having major importance later. So there's a lot you could say about this for sure. Reverberations from the past, Tiny Angry Gnome said. Exactly. That's exactly it. Like, so much of what happened here, good, bad, evil, dark justice, normal good justice, all those different things, like, so much you could read here that people failed, succeeded in different ways. It's just so awesome. Also, I can't, my Hold on, my Chrome tab crashed. You guys know how this works sometimes. Give me a second. I can't see the chat. I saw it wasn't moving for a long time, but then I saw it was moving over on Streamlabs, and I'm like, okay, so tab froze. Let me go see if I can figure it out. All right, cool. Yep, we're good. We're good. I can see you guys now. Cool. There was a few things I said where I wanted to see the chat and nobody was typing. I'm like, dang, I must not be saying anything worth responding to. But nope, that was Chrome. But yeah, just so awesome for so many reasons. Alexander Fiorello with the $2 super chat. My stomach dropped on that frustration panel. Yeah, that is like what's so beautiful about it. Like, isn't just the art itself, because that carries on its own. Oda could have just done that as its own thing and we would have felt it. But the fact that the text for the bubble above him says, I can feel your frustration, that's what we are all thinking when we see this image, right? Like, we can feel the anger, the disgust, the sadness, all those different things. You can feel it just by looking at his face here. But then for Oda to make the box say, I can feel your frustration because Garp and Roger are feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is just why One Piece is peak, right? This is why Oda's the GOAT right here. Like, merging all these things. Like, he made it so we are feeling the exact same thing that Garp and Roger are feeling. Well, that they're feeling and Rox is feeling, right? Like, we are so in tune with it. Yeah, one of my favorite panels, and I say that a lot, but you can just feel the emotion, man. It's crazy. Mr. Bushido with the €5. I did not tell half of what I saw, for I knew I would not be believed. These were Marco Polo's words on his deathbed. Reminds me of Noland. Let me read that again. I did not tell half of what I saw, for I knew I would not be believed. That does remind me of Noland. That is such a Noland story. I wonder where Oda's gonna go with that, as far as like that feels so much like a Noland thing, and Noland is for sure gonna be a factor in Elbaf at some point. I will bet my house right now that man visited Elbaf at some point, or at least befriended the Giants or something like that. And so I wonder if there is gonna be a story there where, like, Maybe Noland saw some crazy stuff in Elbaf, and maybe he will say that line where it's like, because like we know that he talked about the City of Gold, and that's why he was put to death. Maybe he went to Elbaf and saw even crazier stuff, and he's like, I'm not even going to mention this because people are just not going to believe me. And like, I think that'd be a really cool storyline. I know that's a very cool quote though. Thank you, Mr. Bushido. Gerald Heisa, aka Rapo, with the £5 super chat. Dope chapter. Did they annihilate Rox? Is there anything left behind of him? Is this a hockey synchronization? I do think it's a hockey synchronization. I'm glad you brought that up, because like maybe a little bit, because I was gonna parallel this a little bit with like Ikoku sovereignty or Hakoku sovereignty, whatever it was, the Kaido and Big Mom combo attack from the rooftop, because they kind of combined their hockey into one blast, right? In this one, it's kind of like that. Like, they each have their own individual attacks where, like, you know, Roger's swinging the sword and Garp is just punching a bunch of times, so they don't really combine their hockey in like a blast in the same way, because that to me is like the ultimate hockey synchronization or whatever. I think that, at least that's how I think of it. And so I feel like it's a little bit of that. But as far as is there anything left of Rox? I mean, I think his body is just, his normal human body is just going to fall to the ground after this. That's my interpretation. Like the transformation will probably go away. And remember how Gunkmu said, like, give up thy lifespan for a body unyielding to death, or something to that effect. I'm wondering if just this caused him to burn through all of the remaining lifespan, so he's like, you know, he's on his like final few moments of life or something. But yeah, I do think there will be some left of him, but not a whole lot. I guess is my answer for sure. Terrible TJ with the $2 super chat. Does Domi Reversi send victims' will to the abyss? That's the $1 million question, my friend. That is, to me, that's my guess, or the way I kind of brought it up a couple videos ago. And again, I don't think this is actually what's happening. It's just, for me, like the easiest way to think about it. It feels like Emu is implanting like an awakened zone fruit type will into him, and he just can't control it. So I don't know if Emu is like bringing up like a demon's will from the abyss and then letting Rox's body be the host in the same way that devil fruits need a host to manifest, right? Like if you eat a zone fruit, then you can transform into that thing, and then you turn into a, like if you get a bird fruit, you turn into like a bird version of yourself, right? It's kind of the same thing here. You're turning into a demonic version of yourself, and we know that awakened zones don't, like, you can't, some can control them, but oftentimes they can't, right? You just become like a mindless beast. And I feel like that's what's happening. So maybe Emu is just implanting wills from the abyss or the underworld into him, and he just can't control it. Again, I don't know if that's exactly what's happening, but another way of looking at that could be maybe they're just swapping the will in that body. It's like you're taking Rox's will out and putting someone else's in, but I don't think that's necessarily happening because he is still talking with the voice of all things, so like Rox is still in there. So I feel like it's more of you're putting a stronger will in there, and he just can't control it like a zone awakening type situation, but we'll see. Again, I don't think it is literally a zone thing, but it feels so similar to me. There's probably a connection, especially with the Gorosei having zone transformations that weren't said to be fruits. It feels like there's a connection between all of it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Domi Reversi's doing, but hopefully we get the answer soon. Alexander Fiorello, again, thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you. Do you think Saturn had partial control or consciousness when Emu merged with him? Also, can he do that with the other Gorosei or just him? So, as for the second part, I would be beyond shocked if Emu couldn't do it with all the Gorosei. Like, I don't know why it would just be Saturn. I think Emu is showing us Saturn first because Saturn has kind of been his guinea pig for a lot of things. Like, Saturn was the one who showed up to Egghead. He was the first transformation we saw. He's the first one we saw die, and now he's the first one that Emu took over. Like, Oda has just used Saturn over and over for the guinea pig type things, right? The prototypes of all this. So I think that's mainly why he's doing him first. But I would again, I'd bet my house that Emu can do that with all the Gorosei. And I brought this up in my last video too, but I think this is a docking parallel, meaning that there will probably come a point where Emu merges with every Gorosei to make some crazy chimera monster thing, you know? Like, I almost called it a Cerberus, but I mean, that's only like 3 heads, and we already saw Cerberus, but it's kind of like that, like some Hydra, some, you know, some crazy monster whenever they merge all together. I think that's what we're building up to. And then as far as did Saturn have partial control or consciousness when Emu controlled him? Personally, I think it's very much the same thing that's happening to Rox. Like, I think Emu is getting into the driver's seat, but the will of the original person is probably still in there. So Saturn's probably in there fully aware that Emu is controlling him, and so he's just kind of like waiting for Emu to get done, and then he'll have control of his body again. That's kind of how I read it, but I don't think we actually know yet, to be honest. Like even here where, you know, we see the emu-eyed Saturn, which is so off-putting to me. Like he's probably in there, he's just not, you know, like I said, in the driver's seat. That's how I kind of look at it, but we'll see. Well, every week gives me a new way of thinking about it, so we'll see. Mr. Bushido with the 10, the 2 euros. Marco Polo's dad was Nico Polo. Okay, so now we're kind of cooking. I mean, like, I think the problem with that is Nico and Polo were both the family names of, like, you know, Robin's family in Marco's, so I don't know if Nico Polo would necessarily work. but I love the connection nonetheless. I mean, maybe it's just a hint that, like, well, I was gonna say maybe Robin is somehow related to the Polo family, but even then, that's hard to. Well, I don't know. Wait, well, no, well, wait, Polo, this is, we're in the West Blue, and Robin grew up in the West Blue. I feel like Robin being related to Marco is really weird, but that's also kind of cool. So I don't know. Maybe they are both in the West Blue. So I don't know. Maybe there is something to it. I don't know. K Raven with the $5 super chat. Forbidden Sun gives me a solar eclipse, honestly, using teamwork or combo attack. Could be cool with Herald foreshadowing with too many enemies. Hold on, wait, was the too many enemies? What's that from? I'm blanking on that part. Is that the I'm trying to think. Is that from when Harold was trying to team up with people and there was like the animosity? I don't remember what the too many enemies is from. I'll keep an eye on the chat. I don't remember that part. But as for the Forbidden Sun and the solar eclipse part, I do think, like, as far as on the mural where there's the demon holding the Forbidden Sun, I do think there's like a solar eclipse story there, because, like, if that is Blackbeard, or honestly, even if it's Emu, like, they both have like these darkness powers. Like, Blackbeard's literally darkness, but Emu is, has these abyss powers or whatever. So, like, if the darkness or the abyss were to encapsulate the Forbidden Sun, it would be kind of like a solar eclipse sort of thing, right? So I do think there's like a story there with, the people with the darkness abilities getting the sun at their disposal, right? Because they're eclipsing the sun. I do think there's something there for sure. Yeah, that it's interesting too, because if you think about it also from the perspective of how, like, there's this prophecy that's been going on that's supposed to culminate in some event in 800 years, or, well, it's current time now, but 800 years from when the prophecy started. Like, I think I even did a video where I brought this up once, where it's like, is that because there's an eclipse happening in the future and the timing has to be right? Like, will there be a solar eclipse and then that powers up Blackbeard somehow, right? Like, does he get like extra powers when everything's in, pitch darkness? Like, maybe, because that would explain just the timing of it, like why the timing's so important. Or maybe like all the planets align and that, I don't know, something like that. K Raven, you said when Rox was recruiting Harold to take over the world, Harold said there were too many. Gotcha. Sorry, still working. No problem, K Raven. No problem. Thank you for explaining that. I did not remember that, but you are right. Yeah, that, it's cool thinking about it that way too, because if you look at the mural with the way everyone is fighting together against that demon, it sounds kind of corny. It sounds like the power of friendship kind of thing. But what if it literally is like there's too many enemies, and so you have to you literally need everyone teaming up together for this one attack, because that gives you enough mass behind the attack. Whatever this mass story is behind the hockey stuff, maybe that is it. Is like, it's not just for the friendship angle. It's not just the prophecy. It's like literally you need this many people teaming up together in order to take them down because of the mass, because there are so many enemies. It's like the only way you can do it is getting that many people on one team. That'd be kind of cool, because like, because that would, going back to the Giants thing, I don't know, I can't remember if it was you, but whoever brought the Giants up earlier in regards to this, it's like the Giants have the most mass, so whatever side they pick, that just, like, if the Giants side with anybody else other than the good guys, then it's like they won't have enough mass. But now that they do, like, if the Giants pick the government, it's like there's not enough. Like, the mass versus mass is too much. Was like, I feel like it's like too much focus on whatever this mass thing is. But I mean, the fact that they brought it up in like the biggest moment to beat this demonic figure tells me it's massively important. So yeah, maybe that is part of it. Spirit bomb vibes, yeah, something like that. Terrible TJ, something like that. And actually, before I continue, one layer to that I think could be really cool. Again, we're teetering on, like, at least in my opinion, a little bit of corniness, a little bit of power of friendship stuff. But like, you think back to like how shadows work, and like if you got somebody's shadow, you did get stronger. Like with Nightmare Luffy, he had 100 shadows. I don't know if we're gonna get to a point where Luffy literally takes the shadows of the world, or maybe there's even something better than shadows, like soul or something else, and he like literally gets powered up from the will of everybody, because then he has all their mass or whatever. Like, again, Oda would have to do that in a certain way to make that hit, I think, but we might be building up towards something like that, honestly. Mr. Bushido with the €2. I don't do chapter rankings, but last few chapters, 10 out of 10. Yeah, these last few have also reset the scale. You know, we've had a lot of scale resetters recently, but yeah, this one's a 10, or even like a greater than 10, like a 15 or something like that. This one was just too good. And then your last super chat here. 1 second. Your last super chat here. For €2 again. Luffy told Frankie, Bonnie, and Sanji to hit... Oh, that's right. To help him hit Mars. You're right. And that actually sent Mars back, because if you remember in Egghead, the hockey rope sent... Well, it took Saturn out of his form, but didn't send him back because he physically actually went to Egghead. I'm guessing he didn't, use the circle to get 90% of the way there. He circled from the ship to the shore, but you know what I mean. But Mars was already sent back because of the team up with Bonnie, Luffy, and Frankie, and Sanji, whoever it was, that group attack. And so that sent him back, and then the hockey rope sent the other 3 back. So that is another like combo attack thing. That is very interesting. And going back to the Hakoku sovereignty, whatever the attack was on the rooftop, it's interesting now kind of looking back at that, because we just looked at it just generally like, oh, they're doing a combo attack like Dory and Brogy. That's cool. But now that we see this, and we know we're in Elbaf, and Dory and Brogy got turned into demons, now I think we have to really kind of look at this combo attack thing all over again, because it's like, that clearly seems to be an important point. Like, you could always kind of reason, like, yeah, combo attacks are stronger than normal, but now there might be even like a deeper story beat to it. You know what I mean? So that's really interesting, actually. And like I said, with Dory and Brogy being the first ones to do that, and now we're back here on Elbaf, and they're, demonic, it's like maybe we're going to think, like, maybe Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are going to think, okay, well, maybe we all need to combine our attack to beat this guy. Which actually, going back to the Pacifista and Sabaody, they kind of did the same thing. It wasn't like they merged the hockey together or anything. Like, they just did their own attacks or whatever. But even there, they had to team up to beat the Pacifista the first time. And then they could do it solo later. But we have kind of seen this a few times. So maybe that's where we're going, is Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji have to team up to take down Dory and Brogy. I think that'd be kind of like a fitting end, right? The first time we saw a combo attack, like, from those people, now we have to do it to them to beat them. That's a cool storybook ending, I think. So, yeah, I like that, actually. That's very cool. Plumed Black Hat, you said, Advanced Conquerors lore was not on my bingo card. Yes. Yeah, same. That kind of surprised me, where he's like, it's the mass. What do you say? It's all about the mass, Garp. The mass? What are you talking about? And then there's this whole discussion on how it works. It's like, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it, honestly. It's all about the mass, Garp. The mass? What? Like, it's just it's so like random. Like, it makes sense kind of that it would happen here, but also, wait, I just noticed, is it raining at the end here? Yeah, look, it started raining. It wasn't raining the whole time, right? I don't know if that is a hint about something. Yeah, I just noticed that it started raining towards the end. Actually, it started raining like right after, well, it was after the other, yeah, I guess it was after they also split the sky and knocked the mountain down, so it's hard to tell, but it is after Saturn's, like, that island never existed, is that clear, and then it starts raining. It's like, Well, then it looks like it stops by the end too. So I don't know how much to read into that. I don't know if that was just for some dramatic effect, but it got me thinking, like, going back to the theories that, like, oh, is Uranus the weapon that destroyed the Lucia? It's like, oh, do they have the weapon above the island right now, and it's causing a weather change, which we didn't see that in the Lucia. Or, well, it did change weather after the blast happened, but I think that's like a little bit different because, you know, you have a climactic blast going into the ocean or whatever. But here it made me think, like, oh, is this a hint that there's like a weapon above them and it's changing the weather? But I feel like it's more dramatic effect, but I think it's probably that they move the clouds around from their attacks. Yeah, because they split it earlier, right? So maybe like this, the clouds kind of came in. Yeah, they did split it earlier. And we also know, like, whenever Shanks and Whitebeard clashed, like, yes, they did split the sky, but even before they split it, like, storm clouds came in. So I'm guessing that's maybe what it is. I don't want to read too much into it being like a weapon thing, because like I said, it looks like it stopped raining by the end, so I think it's more of just dramatic effect, but it is interesting it started raining. That's like, it'll make it really cool in the anime. I'll say that much. It'll be, you know, because it starts raining right when they're laying down, and you know, it's like the mass Garp. It's like the final moment of the battle. Knack Talk, or wait, yeah, I think, am I on that one? Yeah, Knack Talk, my guy with a Canadian $5. Reminds me of Hell's Paradise. Combos are essential. By the way, great read if any of you are sleeping on it. I think I am sleeping on it, to be honest with you. I don't even know if sleeping is the right term. I might just be completely dead on it. Like, I'm not even aware. I'm not even born yet on it, you know? I'm looking it up right now. It looks pretty cool. It's on Crunchyroll and Netflix. I think my Netflix subscription is still good, so I might look at that then. I might check that out. So yeah, everyone, go check that out for sure. If Knack's recommending it, I mean, he knows. He's got good taste, you know? And then Kiefer Gilbertson with the Canadian $7. I don't see any chat there. Thank you very much, though. Kiefer Gilbertson, if you have anything you did want me to... Oh, wait. Oh, here. Okay, I see you responded to your own chat. I assume that's what you want me to read. The Abyss is a dream world, and Supreme Hockey is just absolute lucidity in the face of the nightmare that took it over from Supreme Evil Will. I think that fear is connected to the Abyss on the surface. So I agree with most of what you're saying. Like, you're either right or you're dancing around the right answer for sure, in my opinion. Like is the Abyss just a dream world? It's like, I feel like there's a lot of ways I could break that down, because it's like, is it, like, going back to the idea that the Abyss is the underworld, or at least there's a connection to the underworld, which I think there has to be. It's like, okay, so is it that the dead people don't go anywhere, or like, is the Abyss like a completely separate thing? Because I think there has to be some connection, but it's like, if this is a dream world, is anything real? Like, are Garp and Rocks real? Like, is this all just Emu's dream? Is that why Emu's the world? Like, I guess there's just a lot of ways to read into it, but I think you're definitely close to the answer. And the thing that I 100% agree with is that fear is connected to the Abyss somehow. I'm 100% on that train. You think back to, like, Big Mom was Soul Pocus. You had to fear her for it to work. I think that's definitely something here. You know, we're dancing around the underworld, the undead kind of thing. Big Mom's taking souls. It's like there should be a tie-in there. And then you think back to the nightmares that Killingham created, and they said that, like, remember, Ange was like, draw your greatest fear or whatever, and then those greatest fears became the nightmares that came to life. So, like, fear, nightmares, dreams, and also Top Musica showed us there is, like, a dream world, which, like, that's not canon, so maybe Oda's going to do it differently, but we've already seen multiple dimensions: Blue Nose Door dimension, Katakuri's mirror world. We know these other dimensions exist. We know fear has had a big role, actually, and also the mirror world. You know, we were there during Whole Cake, and Whole Cake's where Big Mom was, where we learned about Soul Pocus and stuff. So, like, I'm with you 100% on the fear part. Like, that, to me, there has to be something there. But as far as, like, it actually being a dream world, it's like, Is it a dream world? Is it just another dimension? Is it just the underworld? If it is a dream world, then like I was saying, like what is real then? You know, like because like if the abyss and the underworld are connected and that is like a dream world or something, then we really have to ask, like, is any of this real? And that kind of takes me back to Laboon, where, you know, we were inside Laboon and Island Whale, and like we thought it was real, but then we realized, okay, no, this is just like a mini world inside of a whale. And so then I don't know. I have been thinking lately, and I know it sounds super crazy, but like, what if this entire world, like this whole universe of One Piece, is like inside of something else? Or what if Emu is like a giant dragon and we're all just inside of Emu? Like, think back to like how the Kashigami ate Luffy and it had all the ruins inside and like treasure and all this stuff that was inside the snake. It's like, I could see Oda trying to build on that trope of Laboon and that snake somehow. Not that I think this whole world is actually inside of Emu or some fake world or something, but I don't know. I mean, didn't Garp a few times even say, like, is this real? Like, is this am I in a dream right now? So I don't know. It's like I said, you're either right or you are dancing around the right answer. That's how I'm gonna put it. You are definitely close for sure. And I suspect that as we learn more about Emu, the answer is going to become much more clear. Like, it's going to be something like you're saying, but I think very soon we're going to get the full answer. Nick Ilvento, member for 16 months. Roger and Rox bypass Rock's body and cut his soul. Yeah, so, you know, I kind of mentioned it in the chapter where, like, whenever he says it's all about mass, Garp, that was the first thing that came to mind, is like, well, the soul is 21 grams. And going back to the idea that, like, maybe the giants are important because they have more mass, I would imagine that their soul is still 21 grams. And I actually would really like if Oda used that trope more, because then it's like it's about getting more people on your side, like more living beings on your side, as opposed to just the strongest, biggest monsters in general. It's like your life mass is the most important. Like, I do think there's going to be some interplay there, because like your soul is probably the source for all of your haki also, right? Like, I mean, yes, you can train it and make it better, and like your body's probably part of it. Like, I'm sure a stronger body's going to do better, but I think in general, like, there's got to be a tie between your soul and haki, in my opinion. So I don't know if they just cut right to Rox's soul, or maybe the idea is like Rox's, you know, haki and strength and stuff was so much that like they couldn't get to his soul, and that's why they had to team up. I don't know. Like, I do think there's going to be a soul angle here, but Oda's just barely touched on it, you know, like only Vegapunk has really mentioned the 21 grams. So I'm like, where does that come into play? Because Big Mom's soul was just lifespan. There might be a role for that here, but I think that's a lot different than the 21 grams. And like I said a few times, the fact that it's 21 grams and that's, you know, like a unit of mass, and now we're talking about mass here, I'm like, I don't know, maybe it'd be worth looking into the kanji and seeing, like, whenever they say mass, do they literally mean like at least for me in physics class, whenever the teacher corrects you on your use of weight and mass, it's like, no, like those are different things. They're often used the same, but they're not the same, right? And so I'd be curious on how how the kanji kind of reads there. But Dao, you said, speaking of magazine, wonder where Big News is, dude. True, because Big News probably. I mean, we know he wrote about this incident. We already saw young Big News earlier in here, but I wonder if, like, is he getting the scoop on all of this? Does Big News today know everything that happened? I don't know. And I also am thinking, so Stussy was here, and then her clone, Stussy, ended up joining the Underworld and CP0, but in the Underworld with Big News. Remember, they both went to Big Mom's wedding, or, well, Sanji's wedding in Whole Cake. And so that also makes me wonder, like, is there a chance that the clone Stussy knows everything that happened here, and then she could have told Big News or told other people? I don't know. I think it's just an interesting connection. I don't know if Oda will really do a whole lot there, but But I feel like the Stussy clone plotline probably needs covered sometime soon. Like that's because look, we know a little bit about it, but we also know that Miss Buckingham is probably still on Sphinx Island waiting for word on, or waiting for proof for Marco about Weevil being Whitebeard's son and stuff. So like her plotline kind of needs to come full circle at some point. How long ago did the clone Stussy get made? I'm trying to 36. So it's 2 years after this. So honestly, after we get out of here from God Valley, we might actually go to part of the flashback where we see Stussy's clone get made. Or be born, get made, be born. I don't know what the right term is whenever it's a clone, but I think that probably is we're probably gonna see a little bit of that because it's only 2 years from this point, right? So very interesting, very interesting. Friend Harper, my soul is 22 grams. Hit the gym and get those numbers up. Now, if you want to get your soul grammage up, you gotta. I don't know. You got to go to church. I don't. I don't know. But depending on which church you go to, you might actually lose some grams. So I'm not. I'm not too sure. I don't know what to recommend there. Trying to think of what else. I don't know. Maybe if you go do some seances. Maybe if you learn how to do exorcisms, you'll get some extra grams. I don't know. But yeah, got to get the numbers up though, for sure. Attend mass, gain mass. Oscar Lindblad, you're cooking. Attend mass, gain mass. I love it. And you know what? You know who has the most mass in the whole story then? Kuma. And he deserves it. Kuma. And that's what okay. So I was making a joke. I don't actually think that, any of this is going to matter. I think everyone's stuck at 21, whatever. But if we're memeing a little bit, it would be kind of cool if like Kuma's love for Nika and being a good person and all that actually pushed up his numbers, and that's why he was able to come back and save Bonnie in a vegetative state. Like if you're gonna do it, Oda, let's just that's the way to do it. We'll accept that. I don't know if I like it in a lot of other contexts, but if Kuma's got the most soul mass because he's such a good person, all right, sign me up. Sign me up. Oh man, that probably not gonna be how it works, but I love it. By the way, I forgot to do this earlier, and I know we have a break week, so I'm gonna do this now. Before we end the stream here, 5 free memberships from YouTube. Hey Oscar, look, you got paid off for the funny mass joke. Look, you got a free membership from YouTube. I don't know I don't pick the people, to be clear. It's random. But Oscar, you were the first one too, so that is crazy. Like, I don't know. That's insane to me. I don't know how that works, but that's cool. So, congratulations everyone who got a free membership. But all right, I think wow, we're at 2 hours, dude. That flew so fast. So all right, so I'm gonna wrap up here, but thank you guys for all being here. As always, thank you for the donations. This was amazing chapter, amazing discussion, amazing theories as always. We are in a break, so we'll be back in a couple weeks for the next reaction, but I do have a couple videos planned from between now and then. So hopefully you'll see at least 2 videos from me here on this channel. I should be able to do Redacted as well. It's kind of hard whenever I do a video on a chapter, or at least that relates to a chapter, because there's just a lot of work on one weekend, but I'm going to try it anyway. But yeah, so you got some content coming out. Also, before you guys go, so I did a giveaway a couple days ago for the One Piece TCG, like my normal members only giveaway. And we are going to be doing another one. So if you got any memberships today, make sure you keep an eye on the community tab, because we're going to set those up. But I mentioned it earlier, but I got a few boxes of OP13. And so I will be doing another giveaway sign up soon. And so, because we hit 100K recently. I'm so confused. I have so many thoughts. I don't even know how to organize them. But we hit 100K recently. And so I'm going to be having a 100K stream soon, and there we will be giving away a bunch of One Piece cards. I think a lot of you guys have already heard about that, but hopefully that'll be happening soon. And so if you got a membership, keep an eye on the community tab, because that's how you'll sign up for at least a portion of the giveaway, because a portion of it will be for members only, so keep an eye on that. We have a lot of different cards to give away, but then some of it will be for anybody who's subscribed, and I'll do a post about that later too. But just want to give you guys a heads up. There will be a sign up probably this weekend, honestly, because I ordered the play button a few days ago, and I feel like it's going to come in a week or two. And then if it comes next week, we're going to have the stream next week, and we'll get it all done there. But just FYI, be on the lookout for that. And what else was I going to say? Join the Discord if you haven't. Please join. We're almost at 1,000 people. I think we're at like 970. So if you guys want to join, someone can be the 1,000th member. And I do plan to do a giveaway in Discord as well. I'm still thinking about what items are going to go where, because I have a lot of different stuff, and I just want to make sure it all makes sense. But definitely join the Discord, even just for discussions, not even just the giveaway. But that's the place. That's the place to not only have great One Piece discussions, but you can hear about some of my theories early, or you even have a chance to help me with some of the videos and get a shout out sometimes. So either way, hope you all have a great weekend. It is Friday, right? So have a great weekend, great night or day, or wherever you're at.